Hello, everyone. It's Brian with you, and I'm trying to figure out why I have this weird issue with this spotlight. I guess I put my computer in a different place than normal, and it's kind of weird, but hopefully that's not going to be too distracting. Clearly, it's winter here. We got dumped on with snow, so we're digging out from that, and it's cold, but whatever. I guess we do what we can. Today will be recent finds number 12, but before I do that, I wanted to do a channel shout out because I keep finding channels and I keep forgetting to mention them, but there's one I wanted to mention today, and I'm certainly not the first person to visit this channel. I've noticed from the comments that lots of other well-known vinyl community members, that sort of suggests that I'm well-known, but anyways, lots of well-known vinyl community members have already been there. So it's a guy called Louis Golden, and his channel's called Louis Golden. He's done 3 videos. I think he's around 130 subscribers. He has a very entertaining presentation style, a bit of humor in there, and some things I've never heard of before. So very interesting guy. So if you're looking for some other channels to follow, that might be a good one. I've already subscribed. And so let's go. Recent finds number 12. If I've counted correctly, I'm going to start with a well-known Canadian indie rock band. I guess you'd also put them in the category of new wave or synth pop, and that's a band called Metric. It's a Synthetica, originally released in 2012. I have the CD here somewhere. This vinyl pressing came out in 2021. Here's the track listing on the back. Everything's backwards. So this is a band led by Emily Haines, who I guess was first known as being a member of Broken Social Scene. That's a Canadian indie rock collective that has spawned numerous side projects and bands. I can't even list them all because lots of solo stuff, lots of other bands. You could draw a family tree of everyone that's associated with that, including people like Feist and lots of things like that. There's also a guy called James Shaw who is also in Broken Social Scene. Emily Haines also released some solo recordings under the artist name Emily Haines and the Soft Skeleton. Those recordings are quite different from Metric. Metric's really upbeat, poppy sounding, whereas her solo records are with the Soft Skeleton are more of a mournful, folky, piano-based thing, but very good. So this, all the lyrics here are also backwards, so you're going to need a mirror or Google to help you out with that. I think the song that, if you know a song from here, it's going to be Breathing Underwater. That's probably the song that had the most traction, I suppose. So this is a good record. I like the band very much. So the second thing is an EP that was record store release from 2022, and that is from David Boyd's The Next Day Extra EP. So I've only heard this a couple of times, so I'm still getting used to it, but it has seven tracks on here. My favorite being the Love Is Lost, Hello Steve Reich mix by James Murphy. It's sort of in the style of Steve Reich, which is probably my favorite composer of 20th century classical music. And this is actually really interesting to hear the outtakes and remixes from The Next Day, which is an album I really, really like. There's Bo in the credits. Just a regular black vinyl pressing, so that's cool to have. I think this was released digitally 10 years ago, but it didn't get the vinyl pressing until RSD, one of the RSD things last year. So, a band that's going to make me reference Mike, PC31, the Vinyl Policeman, because Mike is a big fan of this band, and he has done a ranking video of this artist, a English post-punk band. This is the band's 6th record from 1987, and it's the Comsat Angels, or as they are known in North America as CS Angels. Now, the weird thing about this band is that the first of their records to be released in Canada domestically was the record Land in 1983, and it was credited to the CS Angels. However, the next record, 2 years later, in Canada, the cover said Comsat Angels on it without any change to it. And this record 2 years later was back to CS Angels. And weirdly, it's an interesting design choice to just block out CS, just block out the Comsat part and just leave CS. In fact, they did it on the spines. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but you can actually still read Comsat Angels where they tried to block it out with gray. So that's a really interesting choice. And they did this because Communications Satellite Corporation threatened some legal action because they claim they own the name Comset. In any case, this is Chasing Shadows. I can't remember where Mike placed this on his ranking, but I like it. It's got the lyrics on the back. I've only listened to this a couple times as well, so I'm not going to have a lot to say about it. It's on the Island label. So that's really, I just thought it was weird that they just use these, like, I don't know, gray out over the part of the name. It's very strange. So, I get records from a record store, so I'm going to do a little clip here of a recent place I was in right now. So as you can see, I discovered a Radio Birdman record. And it's a legendary concert from Sydney in 1977, and it was $50. And of course, it turns out it's a bootleg, and I didn't know anything about the sound quality, so I left it in the bin. Ben Rankins, in our friend from Australia, would have always promotes that band, and I felt sort of a compulsion to buy it, but then I wasn't sure about the sound quality. I went on later and listened to some of it online, and it sounded okay, but I didn't buy it, in other words. But a little further down in the bin, I did find something else that I think Ben would approve of, and that is Saints' Prodigal Son from 1987, Canadian pressing on Attic Records. This is the band's 8th record from 88. 8th record from 1988. Sorry, I got the date wrong there. Here's the weird thing about this. I actually saw this band in concert in 1987. Somebody never mentioned that before, but I did see them in Toronto in 1987, or the Toronto area in 1987. So, anyway, this is, I don't know, the guy, it's really sad news because Chris Bailey passed away, in 2022, so that's sad news. But anyway, this is a really good record, and it's got the Remainder punch out. Like I said, it was remaindered at some point. Anyway, really good. Yeah, I like that. Again, most of these I only heard like once or twice, and I guess it is possible that I heard some of these tracks when they played here live before this record came out, but I don't know. But yeah, really good. And it was a good price. Next thing is something I've had on CD since it came out in 2007, and would have picked up the vinyl, but it was always pricey. But I was in a record store recently, and they had sealed copies of this for $18, so hard to turn that down. Raising Sand, Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. This is the black vinyl version. So weirdly, this store that I went to had 3 or 4 copies of this. Well, I think 3 copies of this for $18 or $18.50, and they had colored vinyl versions for like $56. What? Come on. So yeah, I got this one, and I know this record very well because I've heard the CD like dozens of times. I think it's a really good record. Very peaceful, quiet. I mean, there's some upbeat tracks here, but I haven't heard the next one, Raise the Roof, but I would pick that up if I saw it for a good price. But I enjoy this record. And then we have the 10th anniversary edition of the Black Keys El Camino. There's a deluxe version of this, and there's also several different cover versions of this. The color of the van is different on some things. There's a red van, a white van. This is the fake wood panel van. So in addition to the record El Camino, it has the Live in Portland concert, which spans 2 discs. So there's 3 records in this set. There we go. And let me show you the back. With the blue van here, and the white van here. So, yeah, I'd heard the Portland show. I had streamed it at some point before, but I think this is great. I mean, this is a really solid record. Lonely Boy, Little Black Submarines, Gold on the Ceiling, which I still hear on the radio. I heard it the other day. So, but it's really good to hear these the live tracks. It's a really good collection. And let's one more. This is a part of the re-release series from David Sylvian. So I got Blemish a while ago, and this is Manaphon. Now this is, if you've heard Blemish, you'll know that it's a very moody, atmospheric, quiet, emotional record. One of his collaborators was Fenez, who's an ambient musician. I have one of his records over there, and this is similar. It's very dark. Probably would be fair to say musically difficult. Not traditional song structures. Improvised. It seems to be largely improvised, or that's the appearance it gets. And it's just weird. The other thing about it that's really strange is that because it was a lo-fi recording, there are lots of pops and clicks here. But that is true of the CD as well. Now this came out 2009. In 2010, a vinyl record was pressed, and this is the 2022 180 gram vinyl pressing. So the pops and clicks are there intentionally. So I know some people have commented on the fact that there's noise here, but that's intentional. And there's the back, and it's got a really interesting gatefold. So we have, it's funny, there is a track on here called The Rabbit Skinner. So that's, move my face there away from the face of the rabbit. That's David Sylvian. So I think the art on both Blemish and this one are very good. And on the inside we have, I guess is that a wolf and a fox? And the other one is on 2 pieces of vinyl. We have some credits, and then we have this, whatever that is, elk? I'm not sure. I should know, being in Canada, because we have elk here. So anyway, so yeah, really moody, atmospheric record, but I enjoy this very much. All right, well, that's it for me. I'm going to go. I've already shoveled snow, so I don't have any more to do, but thanks for watching.